Hey guys, it's me, MiniVicJack24 here. Today I'm gonna be, saying this. Happy Memorial Day, everyone. For those that don't know, Memorial Day is the last day, the last Monday of May in the United States, where we take a moment to celebrate those who have died in the line of military service for our nation. Effectively, it is our way of honoring those who have died in combat. Whereas Veterans Day, which is a day in some point in the fall, I forget which day exactly because it doesn't have a specific date, but it happens some point, I believe, in November. November? Yeah, November. Hold on a sec. Yeah, this is going to kill me, so give me a sec, hold on. Oh yeah, it is November, I was right. So pretty much, yeah, so Veterans Day is practically the day where we honor those that are serving in our military that are still alive. Which which I proudly agree with, and Memorial Day is to honor those that have fought for our nation and for our freedom. And not to mention that this 4th of July upcoming is going to be extremely big and huge for the American people because it's going to be our 250th anniversary of us becoming a nation, and this would probably be one of the most patriotic 4th of Julys I will probably ever see in my lifetime, at least until the 300th anniversary, which that won't be until like another 50 years from now. And speaking yeah, I will say that the only exceptions for the people that aren't honored in on Memorial Day by by American military is those who have fought for the Confederates and those that haven't changed from the Confederates that didn't change from being Confederates into Union soldiers, or, since we don't really like really the separation of that, and also not to mention those that thrusted us into a civil war. So, and not to mention we won said civil war, so yeah, the Confederacy is not something that we support. We support or honor on Memorial Day. However, the people in the Confederacy that reformed and, agreed to change their ways, and by that I just purely am talking about the military of the Confederacy, not necessarily the people of the Confederacy, because, yes, they did do some bad things like slavery, but, I'm not going to say, like, that since they were technically following parts of the law at the time, and then when they became the Confederacy, they kind of were a bit immune to the effects that that the Union had over, partially because it wasn't until when the Union fully retook and reconstructed everything where that's when everything kind of got all settled down. But yeah, it's a complicated history, but today is a day where we honor those who have fallen for our nation to provide freedom for us. And for the American families that have people in the military, and for those that don't but live in this nation as the free people of America, we take this time to honor their sacrifices by living out the freedoms and unity of family, friends, and camaraderie, and having a shared sense of togetherness to honor their memories by showing that we're living the best life that we could due to their sacrifices. It is really something that's really touching and really important for most Americans that are veterans and those that have died in wars for us, even if we disagree with the wars that they were fighting for. They were fighting for our nation, and we would respect them the same regardless of stuff. However, for those that are avid neo Nazis or actual Nazis or white supremacists, I will kind of call them bad. I know those terms are loosely have been overused since the time that when they actually meant something to the point where it's pretty laughable in today's political climate for how often these words get used to the point where they lost all meaning. But I mean those in the genuine true terms of white supremacists, neo Nazis, and actual people that aren't exactly kind to the American way of life that have been in the American military. I do not support those people nor condemn. I will condemn them. However, I will appreciate their efforts that they made to still fight for our nation, whether it be willingly or unwillingly, to, at least give all of us the opportunity to live out this life. And to that, I can't be any more grateful, and to honor those that have fallen, I am taking this time to give a minute of silence. I think that's been a minute. I didn't time it exactly, but I always welcome those that have died for my nation of America to be welcomed into the KKET Nation Memorial, and even to those that have died more recently in our military, regardless if they died in the line of duty or happened to die while doing military service, or just happened to die while due to non-combat related injuries in the military, as I view everyone in the military as equally as important as that. As in America, we have the saying of no one gets left behind, and that one life is more important than, well, all of our lives of our soldiers are more important than any amount of equipment that we have. For example, when we rescued the F-15 pilot and weapons service officer in Iran during Operation Epic Fury, which I'm not opposed to, but that's a whole can of rabbit holes. But we made the point of rescuing our men before our enemy was able to get theirs. We didn't care that an F-15 Eagle got shot down. We only cared for saving the lives of our men that were in danger, and we did so in a very hostile terrain, but managed to rescue them without additional loss of life, which is good. And I believe I can say this. I hope you all have a happy Memorial Day. And I've been Mini Big Jack 24, and I'm signing off.